Cute. So, hello everyone. How are we doing? Happy summer, although it does not seem very summery for me today because it is literally not raining, but it's completely grey outside. But that's just UK weather for you. But I hope you are in somewhere a bit more sunny. Today, I wanted to talk about my summer writing goals. I've been really in the goal setting mood recently, and I've just been really inspired to sort of map out the next few months of my writing this year. As I've spoken about in the last couple of videos, I have recently taken a writing break, and I've only started writing again about 1 week ago. I think it was a week ago today that I wrote again for the first time. So I'm slowly easing myself back in. However, I'm just filled with lots of energy and lots of motivation and lots of inspiration. And I want to really capitalize on that and try and get as much work done as I can over the next few months. I find for me with writing, I'm not very consistent. I tend to do loads of writing within a very short space of time. So 3-4 months normally, especially over the summer and autumn. Those seem to be the seasons where I do the most writing for some reason. And then winter and spring, I'm slightly less motivated. It's almost like I go through a hibernation period with my writing. I tend to trail off around November, stop writing for December, and then I slowly ease myself back into it again around April and May. That seems to be what's happened the last few years. So because of that, I really want to make sure that I am making the most of this summer when I will likely have a lot more energy and motivation to write than I have over the past few months. So in case you don't know me, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Lily and I like writing fantasy novels, and currently I'm working on a romantasy project called Slayer Bride. It is a vampire romantasy and I love it so much. And I've been working on it exclusively for the past few years. So it's the only project I've been working on since the end of 2022, I believe. Maybe even 2021, I don't remember. But it's been a while, so it's probably coming up to 4 years now. And I'm currently reading through draft 3. I actually have my manuscript here. Here she is. She is a bit messy and a bit scuffed. I take her everywhere with me in case I suddenly feel like doing some writing in a coffee shop or on my lunch break or something. So she is a bit battered, but she is very well loved. And currently I'm reading through her, and I want to, well, we'll get into it in a second, but basically I would like to write draft 4 of this book this year. So my main number one goal for this summer is to get Slayer Bride into a state where I'm ready to send it to beta readers. So essentially I want to write a draft of the book that I'm not embarrassed for other people to read. Because if I'm embarrassed, I will not send it to them. I will not let anyone read my book unless I am over the embarrassment and mortification stages of the first few drafts. So up until this point that I'm getting to now with Slayer Bride, I am the only person who reads my books. So drafts 1 to 3, I will be the only person who ever reads them. So me sending something to someone is quite a big deal. So I think I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on myself to get this book into its best shape, but I am hopeful that at the end of the summer, I'm going to have a book that's close to what my original idea and hopes and dreams for the story were. I feel like I've been rambling, so let's just get into what I actually want to do this summer and what my goals and plans are. So just to give an overview of the steps that I need to take in order to get to, our end of summer goal. I firstly need to finish reading through draft 3. I then need to outline draft 4, write draft 4, obviously, and then I want to do another round of edits just to make sure the book is as readable as it can be. And then I will submit to beta readers, hopefully around September. This, for me and my natural writing pace, is quite a lot to do in one summer. But I think because the end is in sight for this book, for Slayer Bride, I think I might be able to do a bit more than I could in a typical summer writing-wise, because I'm so close to the end, I can see it, and I'm really just so determined to get there, to finish this book, to send it to literary agents, and hopefully, start moving forward on my publishing dreams and goals. So now I'll just quickly go over how I'm going to be breaking this down and doing each of these steps. So step 1, finish reading through draft 3. In the manuscript, I'm currently on page 195, and my manuscript in total is 393 pages. So If my math's correct, that means I have 198 pages to read through. So I'm roughly around the 50% mark, which is amazing. I did not realize that. For some reason, I thought I was way further behind, but apparently I am on page 195. The reason why I was surprised is because I don't actually have page numbers in my printed out manuscript. I was stupid and I forgot to add them. If you watched my last video, you'll know that I set myself a goal of reading roughly 15 pages a day, and as I read, I add edit notes in the margins. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been sticking to my 15 pages a day very well. Over the past week, I've only done 30. However, I'm not too panicked because I am still, getting used to, the habit of writing. However, like this week onwards, I am going to make sure I'm sticking to that a lot more. And I'm going to set myself a goal of reading through this manuscript in the next 2 weeks. So today it is May 10th, and I hope to have finished reading through draft 3 by May 24th. So that means I'll need to be reading around 14 pages a day. So that's still like the same sort of goal as I set myself about a week ago. This then takes us on to step 2, which is outlining draft 4. Normally when approaching a new draft, I do spend quite a lot of time outlining. I think for draft 3, I actually spent like 7-8 months outlining and doing prep work for drafting, which I just don't think was necessary. I guess it was useful because I spent a lot of time doing character work and getting into my characters' mindsets and really just like finalizing and solidifying what their character arcs were. But in terms of like outlining, I just don't need a super crazy in-depth outline, especially not now that I'm happy with a lot of the words that are on the page. And I don't see any like major changes needing to happen over the next few months. Obviously, outlining is really important. Like I still need to have some sort of like skeleton to make sure that the overall plot of my book is like well structured, the pacing's okay, and I will be making some changes to the overall plot of my book and adding new scenes and new chapters. But for the most part, the plot's not going to change too much. So I think if I'd give myself 1 week to outline, that should be absolutely fine. I've also been really detailed with the notes that I'm making on the draft 3 manuscript itself. Like I've written quite a lot of like big paragraphs going over the changes I want to make in the next draft. So I already have some really great stuff to refer to. So yeah, I think the outline is just going to be like a skeleton reference that I go back to as and when I need it. So since I'm only spending 1 week on the outline, that will take me to May 31st. Step 3 is the exciting step, and that is to write draft 4. I am going to try and do this in 75 days. I think I might do like a little 75 soft writing challenge. We shall see. So the writing period would take place from June 1st to August 15th. In case 75 soft means absolutely nothing to you, it's basically an easier version of the 75 hard challenge. The 75 hard challenge originally was more of like a health and wellness thing. So it's about like working out multiple times a day, drinking lots of water, going on, a healthy food diet. However, a lot of people in the writing community have sort of edited it to create the 75 writing challenge. So I did attempt it last year, and it was really great for my productivity and it was really fun, but I did not succeed. So I think I'm going to do an easier version of it this year because I did really enjoy it, but I just don't think having really firm, rigid rules for every single day is something that works for me. I haven't really got any ideas for rules or goals as of yet, so I'm going to think over the next couple of weeks, but I would like to start it on June 1st, so in less than a month. In terms of word count though, my current manuscript is 99,456 words, so just shy of 100k, and I reckon my final draft for draft 4 will be 110k words. So in terms of editing, I'll need to do about 1,500 words a day. As I said already, a lot of my book is actually fine, so it will just be me adding a few scenes and chapters here and there. I think I'm going to make some changes to the love interest, but I'll go over that in another video when I talk more about the edits I'm actually going to be making. So I think 110k words of editing should be pretty doable within 75 days. However, I have said those words many times before and not succeeded, so we shall see. Step 4 is to do another round of edits. So I think I'll take a 2-week break from August 15th to roughly the end of August. And then I'll get started around the beginning of September, and I'll probably print out draft 4, and the edits I make will be on the printed out manuscript. As in, I'll read through it, make edit notes, and then edit on the digital document for sending that out to beta readers, if that makes sense. So fingers crossed these edits will be even lighter and less intense than the ones I'll be making for draft 4. So in theory, I hope this will be a pretty easy task to do. It'll be more about like making line edits, making the prose pretty, cutting out any unnecessary paragraphs and descriptions, that sort of stuff. As I've said already, I will not submit this book to beta readers if I'm embarrassed or if I'm ashamed of my writing or I don't think it's good enough for other people to read. So if I need to do another round of edits after this, then I will. I won't let myself submit something I'm not comfortable with. I basically want to get the book to a point where I can't think of any changes to make, or if I know my book's not working, but I don't know why, that's the point in which I'll send it to beta readers. So basically, I just plan on tweaking this book until I'm happy to send it to beta readers, which I think will be around mid to late September. And that is basically my summer. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I always write more when it's sunny outside and I like the weather and the season. I don't know why, that's just me, but yeah, I'm looking forward to summer a lot and finishing this Slayer Bride project. I'm really hoping that a year from now I'll be querying. That was my original goal that I made in a video that I put up like 9 months ago, maybe a year ago now, where I said that spring 2027 was when I planned on querying. And I think despite my break, my very unintentional break that I should not have taken over winter, I think I can, pull it back around and get to a state where Slayer Bride is ready to query in a year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.